Welcome back to the channel, everyone. David Ornstein has brought out the exclusive. Fabrizio Romano followed soon after that with a "here we go." Brian Mbeumo will be a Manchester United player. Man United and Brentford have agreed a fee for just over £70 million. If you want a structure, it is 65 million with about 5 to 6 million add-ons. So it surely is, if you want to look at it, a good deal. Brentford got what they want. It doesn't matter. Brian Mbeumo will be a Manchester United player. He also will be part of the preseason tour. He'll definitely be on the plane when they do leave on Tuesday for the US. That is good news, massive news, because now we have Matheus Cunha and Brian Mbeumo. Ruben Amorim getting his first choice targets for the two number 10 positions, and I certainly am excited to see Brian Mbeumo play for Manchester United. A player like Matheus Cunha at a peak age, and of course one of the top performers last season in the Premier League. They will elevate Manchester United's attack. We certainly will be a much more stronger outfit going forward. Now, of course, we know there needs to be more work to be done in the transfer window. We need to bring in a striker, a midfielder, which definitely is a target for Manchester United. We need a right wing back, if you want to look at it that way, and perhaps a goalkeeper, with how there is doubt around Onana in terms of him staying fit, of course, firstly, but of course his goalkeeping ability as well. So let's just talk about Brian Mbeumo for a couple moments. This is a player that I believe, like Matheus Cunha, certainly would have been taken by a Arsenal, a Chelsea, a City, and even Spurs, as we know, according to reports, were in for Brian Mbeumo. But both him and Matheus Cunha said publicly they only want Manchester United. And we don't have European football. That in itself shows you that we can still attract top players and players in their peak age. If Manchester United had the means in terms of the finances, we certainly would have gotten in a Jokeris already. I fully believe that Osimhen could easily be another option that we would have gotten have we had the finances. But 130 million we have now spent on Matheus Cunha and Brian Mbeumo. It is certainly well spent money, not like in previous windows where we buy players and expect big things and then it certainly does not materialize. There is a, in my opinion, such a small chance where you would see Cunha and Mbeumo failing at Manchester United. I don't think that will be the case. I think the two of them will certainly make Manchester United a much better team, a much more lethal team when we are on the attack. It gives opposing teams huge problems now because you don't just have a Bruno Fernandes or a Ahmad that you need to worry about in terms of the chance creators and the goal scorers for Manchester United. There are other players now that are also threats to their particular defenses. Cunha, Mbeumo, of course Bruno, Ahmad. You have the likes of Hoyland, who might get more goal scoring opportunities and might be a better striker now that you have more chance creators in the team. Of course, that remains to be seen where they're still going to be at Manchester United come the start of the season. We know there is interest from Italy around him, so we'll see on that. But it looks probably like he would still be that player up front to Manchester United if we cannot bring in a striker, which is the next target now that Brian Mbeumo is seemingly done as a transfer deal. I don't really see us having a lot of options in the transfer market for the striker position. It's just between, in my opinion, a Ollie Watkins and a Benjamin Sesko, which are the two top available options, if you want to put it that way. But Arsenal, stopped negotiations for Benjamin Sesko because his price being a bit too high. So again, that could easily rule out Manchester United for any particular deal. However, Christopher Vivel, of course we know, he is the head of recruitment at Manchester United. He has brought Benjamin Sesko to RB Leipzig from Salzburg. He was at RB Leipzig, of course. So there is very, very good connections with regards to Vivel and Benjamin Sesko and his agents. So perhaps there could be something done in terms of a transfer deal because of that particular connection. But again, we'll have to wait and see on that. Brian Mbeumo, come on. He's going to be a Manchester United player. that must excite you. A player that at Brentford certainly was their best player alongside Ivan Toney when he was there, and last season with Johan Wissa, but he is and was their main player. We know the qualities that he has. We know what he can bring to Manchester United as a team in terms of his crossing to the back post, in terms of how lethal he is when he cuts inside on his left foot. Very, very comfortable going on his right foot as well. We know he can play in between the lines. We know he's very, very good when we are playing on the counter attack. And of course, he works extremely hard, which is crucial to Ruben Amorim and how he wants his team to approach opposition players when we are facing them at Old Trafford or away. I really am excited to see Brian Mbeumo play for Manchester United, and it will happen sooner than I think. Like I said, he's going to be part of the pre-season tour, and definitely we will be seeing him perform at a level we expect with what we have seen from his time at Brentford, because he's been consistent in the Premier League. There hasn't been a season where he's been a bad player, a bad season. He's only improved ever since he's come into the Premier League with Brentford when they were, of course, promoted in that particular first season. We know what he did against us, of course, under Erik ten Hag in that devastating 4-0 loss, but that's the past. Brian Mbeumo, as per David Ornstein and Fabrizio Romano, is and will be a Manchester United player after both clubs have agreed a fee. But thank you for joining me. Let me know in the comment section how you feel about the Brian Mbeumo saga finally being done, and how you feel about him being a Manchester United player right now. And of course, subscribe to the channel, drop a like. Have a wonderful day further till we see each other again soon, Red Devils. Bye bye. Thanks for watching. If you want more content on Manchester United, like, share, and subscribe.